Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I'm just going to start getting ready for this wonderful webinar and want to make sure that everybody could hear me okay. So just if you could message in the chat box and put a question in, let me know that you can hear me. That would be great. Thank you, Viviana. Thank you, Anita. All right. Pearl, Rashonda, Siobhan, thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll get started. So as I said, good evening, everyone. I am your host, your IntelliTravel host, Sandra Jamali. I am your Industry Relations Manager, and I want to welcome all of our IntelliTravel advisors to tonight's interactive webinar. We're so grateful for you taking the time out of your busy schedules and joining us tonight. Now more than ever, education is extra important to protect the future of your business. Believe it or not, people right now are booking vacations. Our partners have deals that are better than ever. So what do we do right now? Well, let's give you a couple of 5 quick IntelliTravel tips to help you manage and grow your business. We'll start with tip number 1, educate your clients. Let them know what the industry is doing to keep them safe and healthy. Tip number 2, reach out. Let them know you're there as a trusted and concerned travel expert. Tip number 3, set up groups for 2022. Collaborate with your local BDM. Have joint conference calls together with your clients and your sales rep. Tip number 4, find the opportunities. Remember, these deals and values won't last forever. And lastly, tip number 5, further your education. Perfect your fundamentals through IntelliTravel training events just like this. Remember, you are not alone. IntelliTravel is here for you. We are providing support, answering phones, emails, chats, and continuing projects to build for your future. Our best advice is to pay close attention to the directions and inspiration IntelliTravel is distributing. We thank you so much for taking time out of your busy evening to join us, and we are here to help grow your travel business. So tonight, get ready to get more out of your partnership with Allianz Partners. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday nights for one of these interactive preferred partner webinars where you'll get hands-on training from the top travel providers. IntelliTravel's preferred partners in travel. Watch out for email notices from us about updates to our online training program. Look for more of these upcoming special appearances by our travel partners. Also, download our IntelliTravel Advisor training app for exclusive access to our weekly preferred partner podcasts. All of this training is brought to you by none other than IntelliTravel.com. So listen up and take notes, but if you missed something or want to see this webinar again, it is available for free whenever and wherever you want. All these webinars are archived and available for replay in the IntelliTutorials section of our back office website. At the end of tonight's event, there will be a live Q&A session together with our special guest. However, with so many attendees this evening, it is not possible to open the phone lines without interrupting the webinar. Right now, everyone except the presenters should be on mute. You can submit questions using the question box at any time during the presentation, and the question box is found on the control panel at the right of your screen. At the end of the webinar, we will read and answer as many questions as possible. Please be sure to only ask questions that relate to the webinar topic. All other questions should be directed to the email address customerservice@intellitravel.com. And finally, watch the chat box in your control panel for important information from tonight's presentation, like website addresses or phone numbers, plus other valuable IntelliTravel updates and reminders. So now, without further ado, I would like to bring on the real expert and your training specialist this evening, your Allianz Partners District Director, Marilyn McHugh. Take it away, Marilyn.
Hey, that kind of sounds like a famous singer, doesn't it? Marilyn McHugh, but it's actually, her name is Marilyn McHugh, and she's probably a lot richer than I am. Anyway, hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for attending tonight. We do appreciate you taking this time. And I have to tell you, you are with a great company because I've been in the travel industry for a very long time. And there is no other company that I have ever dealt with that has as much training for their agents as IntelliTravel. So you're very fortunate. So what is travel insurance? Like people, I was at an event tonight and they're like, well, why do I need travel insurance? What is it? It's really designed to provide benefits when unforeseeable problems arise before or during your trip. Generally speaking, travel insurance plans may include benefits for the following: financial reimbursement. You know, if somebody gets COVID, that's trip cancellation. They can submit a claim for that. Interruption and delays resulting from covered reasons such as illness, bad weather, and baggage loss and delays. It's also medical. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your biggest selling opportunity when you are working with your customers and you are having the conversation about insurance early and often, just keep that in the top of your mind. But the thing is, we are primary medical, meaning as long as they're 100 miles away from their house, no copay, no out of pocket, no referrals. You cannot beat that in any way, shape, or form. They would not be responsible. We would be covering it up to $50,000. We have 24-hour assistance to locate medical facilities, arrange accommodations, contact family, to provide other assistance in emergency cares. Let me tell you a little story about this 24-hour assistance. New Zealand, I think it was last year, they had that volcano. And when that volcano had happened, there was a couple, they were a young couple on their honeymoon. Parents couldn't find them, couldn't locate them. They reached out to Allianz and we had their itinerary and we knew that they were there when that volcano had exploded. So what we did immediately is we triaged nurses and doctors to New Zealand. They found the husband and the wife. They were in different hospitals. Then what we did as a company is brought their parents to be by their bedside. Unfortunately, the result was not a positive one, but the thing is, we arranged for family to be at their bedside in a very trying time. And that's really important. So that's another reason why you sell travel insurance. So Allianz Travel, we are a global company. We serve 70 different languages. We have 12,250 global medical transports. We had over 800,000 medical and service providers around the world, and we're in 194 countries. So you can see that that's a lot of facilities in a lot of countries. Now let's talk about why offer travel insurance. You want to protect your client's investment. You want them, when they're on their vacation, to have peace of mind that if something happens, they're going to be covered for it. It's really the professional thing to do. The other thing is to meet the country or supplier requirements. Because right now, with everything that's been happening in the world, whether it's COVID or whatever it does, people or countries are requiring higher insurance rates. So, and they want proof of insurance. And I'm going to send you through this presentation, and at the end, I'm going to show you how you can get the proof of insurance for your customers. The best part is it's income for you. The other thing is, what you really need to do is you need to make sure that for everyone you talk to about insurance, if they do not accept it, have them sign a waiver. Because what will happen is they'll say, you never offered me insurance. Have them sign a waiver. We also have epidemic coverage. Epidemic, and we're calling it epidemic, we're not calling it COVID. And the reason why we changed that name is because today you have COVID. What's going to happen in 10 years from now? What's going to happen in 15 years from now? Every time we make a change in a policy, we have to go out to all 50 states in the United States and say, this is what we want to change in our policies. Will you approve them? Every state in the United States has approved them, except for the state of New York and the state of Washington. But one of the most exciting things that I want to tell you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to be an advantage to you, on a monthly basis, we're doing an incentive. We're going to have 4 Visa gift cards per month. 3 at $150, 1 at $250. If you sell 2 Allianz policies, your name will go into a drawing. If you sell 3, then your name will go into a drawing for $150. And this is something you'll get right away. You don't have to wait till the people travel or anything like that. It's going to be a monthly incentive that we worked with IntelliTravel to put together for you. So take advantage of this. Now, let's talk about the product updates and what is going on. In March 6th, we rolled out the new update, which was the individual quarantine coverage, which I spoke about earlier, which is the COVID or epidemic. And basically, you get sick with COVID prior to your trip, it's trip cancellation. You get sick with COVID during your trip or on the way home, you test positive, you have to quarantine, that's trip interruption. The other thing that we have that's new is denied boarding. Now, let me talk a little bit about denied boarding. Denied boarding, if you were supposed to have your COVID test before you entered that country, if your passport's not updated, or you were supposed to provide documentation to the country before you got there. That's not denied boarding. Denied boarding is basically, you get to the airport, they say, you don't look too good. Let me take your temperature. You're sick. You're not getting on our plane. So that's denied boarding. It's not, they didn't get their COVID test. Their passport isn't updated for 6 months or more, or they don't have the required documents that the country asked them to fill out, or the required insurance that the country asked them to fill out. Those are accountabilities on the client themselves, okay? So just, it is a good coverage, but there are stipulations, like anything else with insurance. So what we did recently, countries like Turks and Caicos, Costa Rica, they wanted $50,000 in medical benefits. So what we did is we raised it to $50,000. So let's talk about a couple of the plans that you have that are really the most popular plans. One of them is the new, is the classic travel protection, the classic plan, which is a great plan. It does have the new epidemic endorsement, except for the state of New York and Washington. It has increased medical benefits, except for those 2 states that I talked about. Kids are free traveling with grandparents or parents. Again, primary medical. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you want to continue to sell, is that primary medical, because a lot of people think, you know what, I have insurance, or I'm on Medicare, Medicaid, I'm covered. You're not covered. The minute you step outside of the United States, you are not covered. So that's primary medical, which is very important. We also have proactive smart benefits for travel delay and baggage delay, and it's a no receipt option. So your customer's at the airport, flight gets delayed. Oh my God, I got to sit here for 6 hours. I got to eat. What am I doing? Well, if they're delayed more than 6 hours, we will either send them a text, or they can do it right on, they have the mobile app, they can place a claim right on their mobile app. And each of them and their traveling companions will get $100 each. The same thing for travel delay, for baggage delay. No receipt options. If your baggage is delayed, get on that app or call Allianz and have your clients place a claim. We do have a concierge service. So if they want to find out about medical in the area that they're in, if they want to know about hotels, there's a number of reasons that they would call the concierge service. The other thing we have, which is commission protection up to 20%. Now, let me talk about that a little bit. Your customer files a claim. When a customer files a claim, your commission is retracted, okay? However, when they file that claim and they get paid for that claim, you would go on to Agent Max and you would look for the commission protection form. And you would get up to 20% of whatever they paid, whatever they got paid. If they got $100, you get $20. If they had $200, you get $40. So you get 20% of whatever they get paid. This is also available with Classic Right to Work. And just to tell you what Right to Work is, I bought my plan today. I got solicited by a new company, great opportunity, making more money. Yeah, I'm going to take the jump. So I bought the Classic Right to Work because I thought I was going to change my job. So what happens with that is if you change your job and your vacation's coming up and your boss says, you can't go, we're too busy, we're in the middle of the acquisition, whatever the case may be, then they can file a claim for whatever payout they've already made and be reimbursed. Cancel anytime. Cancellation for other reasons. Does have the new epidemic endorsement. It's 100% back for covered reason. So it's like medical, you're on your trip, your son or wife has a baby, or you're having a baby, whatever. Medical reasons are covered. It's 80% cash back for non-covered reason. A non-covered reason would be something along the line of, my dog sitter quit. My son has a plague that I didn't know he was going to have when I booked my insurance. I don't like my partner, so I'm not going with him anymore. Something like that. But you have to put a reason. People think just because it's 80% cash back, they don't have to put a reason. They do have to put a reason. The thing with this plan, it has to be purchased within 14 days of the first trip deposit, okay? That's important to keep in mind. The other thing is primary medical, just like I had spoke about before. The thing with this, kids are not free on this plan, just so you know. Concierge service, commission protection. So the next plan, which is really one of our most deluxe plans for your client, especially like right now, somebody's booking a trip right now and they're going to the Bahamas or someplace in the Caribbean in June or July. And we all know that it's hurricane season down there during that time. Well, with the Premier plan, hurricane warnings is a covered reason. So if there's a hurricane warning and they say it's going to hit that island, that's a claimable reason. Again, it has primary medical, it has the concierge service, the commission protection. It does have a lower threshold for travel delays. It's 3 hours opposed to 6 hours, okay? And then here just gives you a quick bird's eye view of each of the plans that we offer and what the coverage is. And you can see here, a trip interruption is up to 150%. Emergency medical is $500,000. If your customer has to be medevaced off a ship, the minimum it costs from the Caribbean to the United States, the minimum is $30,000, $50,000. So this is a great coverage for them. Emergency medical and dental on your classic plan, it's $50,000. The classic right to work, it's $25,000. On the Premier, it's $100,000. Frequent flyer miles. I don't know if any of you have customers that are using frequent flyer miles, but If they decide not to go or they have to change fee, there's always either a redeposit or a change fee. So that's covered. Baggage loss and theft. Your baggage delay, travel delay, kids under 15, under 17 free. Every plan except for the Classic Anytime plan. Required to work, kids are not, that's not applicable in the Classic plan. The only one it's applicable for is the right to work. And existing medical conditions. Any of the plans that you book, including the Classic plan, it has to be paid within 14 days of the initial pricing. All of our trips are banned by age and trip cost. That's very important to understand. Usually it's anywhere from 7 to 10% according to the age. So if they're booking a plan and they say, well, approximately how much is it going to cost me? Tell them it's going to be like 7, 8, 10% of their trip. Okay? But when you go on Agent Max, it'll give you the exact amount. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, don't hit the easy button. You know, it's very easy when you're in the booking path of a cruise or a booking path of a tour, just to hit, yeah, I want that insurance. Don't hit that easy button. The reason why you don't want to hit that easy button is because with your cruise line, you're making 10% commission. With Allianz, you're making 28% to 38% commission, except for the Classic Anytime, that's 15. So here's an example, and it's a pretty good example. You know, the typical cruise line coverage against Allianz, because here you can see we're covering the whole thing, where your cruise line may be costing your customer $30,000 because they're not covering things such as the transport to bedside, and they're only covering $25,000 for medical transport, and they're only covering $15,000 for trip interruption and $10,000 for hospital. So these are things that you need to look at. Don't hit that easy button. So with the commissions here, you know, you want to do all of your commissions via Agent Max. If you have not signed up for Agent Max, I encourage you to do that because it's a very easy booking tool for you. And it's easy for your customer too. So what you need to do, there's 5 easy steps, everyone. Take a picture of this slide and just cherish it. Put it up on your desk, and the one number that you have to remember, whether you're calling in a policy or you're booking it through Agent Max, is your AdCam number. That is your identifier for IntelliTravel. And that number is F202902. Please, if you're not utilizing Agent Max, go on and create an account. It's very easy. The other thing is what you can do, which is really great. And you know what I recommend to everybody the first time they go on Agent Max is to kind of play around with it a little. You know, select different states, select trip costs and age, just to kind of get a quote. Don't send the quote anywhere, but get a quote. And it's a really great way for you to navigate the system and learn how to do it. There also is a tremendous amount of learning opportunities on the Agent Max site. Now, we talked about countries requiring information before a customer gets there. This is what's called the embassy letter. I don't know why they call it an embassy letter, but they call it an embassy letter. So it shows proof of policy benefits and limited. So now take a picture of this because this is Agent Services number, who's going to be your right arm when you're booking insurance. And also this is their email, agentservices@allianz.com. Now, what this letter is that you go on the microsite, you ask for this letter, and it'll tell you what the emergency medical benefits are, medical transportation, because that's what the countries want to know. How do you get these people out of their country if they're sick? The other thing is it does say that it covers COVID. And that's really what a lot of countries want to know. So having the conversation. I know sometimes, and I don't know about you, but I know about myself, if I don't feel really comfortable with something, I have a hard time explaining it. So that's why it's very important to learn as much as you can. Don't be an expert on every plan. Just look at the classic plan, download the terms and conditions, and when you're really bored at night, you could read it. It'll put you to sleep quicker than you can snap your fingers. So when you talk about travel protection, early and often, at the time of deposit, make it part of the overall conversation about the vacation. Before the window closes, make sure that you have the pre-existing condition waiver requirement 14 days before 14 days from initial deposit. Anytime prior to 24 hours, you can book an Allianz policy. Not a problem. You may not get pre-existing conditions or something like that, but you can book an Allianz policy. Why do you talk about travel protection? Trip cancellation, trip interruption, emergency, travel delays, weather delays. It's just like if you have a client, you have a good story, tell them that good story, because you have to be a good storyteller to be a travel agent. So cover some of the touch points, like health insurance. They'll say, oh no, I have health insurance, I'm okay. Or, oh, my credit card covers it. No, the only credit card that has any type of good coverage is the Chase Sapphire, and it only covers $10,000 for trip interruption. Some countries require travel insurance. You really need to check that when you're working with your customers. Just go on that country's website and find out what's required. Many hospitals require payment before admitting patients. That's the important part of the primary medical. Because we are a global company, people will take our insurance and take our insurance quickly. And I'll tell you a story. I was in Ireland and somebody on the bus trip had fell and hit her head. She was 80 years old. And we went to the hospital. I went to the hospital with her and they asked for her passport. And I said, well, okay, here you go. But why do you need your passport? You have socialized medicine here. And they said, yeah, we do, if you're an Irish citizen. Oh, that was interesting. The country that is really the challenge is the country Mexico. If you have to go to a hospital there, they take your passport. They keep your passport until you pay. I had one agent say, well, my customer can go to the embassy and get their passport. Yeah, they can. However, who's running the airports? The country of Mexico. And your flag that you cannot get out of the country until you pay your medical bills. And believe me, I've heard some horrifying stories from people where they had to mortgage their house, max out their credit cards in order to get out of the country. So those are things that you have to look at. When you're traveling during winter or hurricane season, look at the different policies and what they offer. With whom are you traveling and who's staying home? This is where pre-existing conditions comes in and is a good opportunity, because if you have elderly parents who are not traveling with you and something happens while you're on vacation, pre-existing, we can get you home to be with your loved ones. So I want to thank you for your partnership, and I'm sure, Sandra, you've been getting a lot of questions, and we have 30 minutes to answer all those questions, which is great. You may not have 30 questions, but I'm here to answer any questions you may have. So Sandra?
Sure. Thank you, Marilyn. That was very informative, and we do have a lot of questions. So I'll start with, if you have already paid for your trip, can you still add trip insurance, or what's the window of time that you have of getting the insurance after paying for a trip?
24 hours. 24, you can book an insurance policy 24 hours prior to your travel date. So, you know what? I was on a whim. I called up and said, you know what? My anniversary is next week. I'm gonna take a trip. I'm gonna surprise my husband and go to Turks and Caicos. I only wish that, I dream that, but it's not happening. I can get insurance. I won't have pre-existing medical conditions though, because, well, I would have pre-existing medical conditions because I just booked it. But if I booked my trip a month ago and I want to buy a policy, you can buy a policy, but you're not going to have pre-existing conditions.
Right. So the pre-existing conditions is something you have a tighter window.
Yes.
Okay. And what is it? 14 days.
14 days from the initial deposit.
Initial deposit. Okay, 14 days from the initial deposit for precondition. Okay. All right, because I did see that one in one of the questions, so thank you. I've got, does Allianz cover travelers on a trip like Amtrak or any kind of rail booker vacations?
Yes, actually, we are the provider for Amtrak. So you could either book it in the path of when you're booking the train, or you can book it outside of it and book the Allianz policy. I think it's a higher commission when you book with us directly.
Okay, okay, so remember to book directly. You mentioned in the beginning something regarding the miles from home. I think it was like 100 miles.
Yes.
Can you just repeat that, because the question was not clear on the trip, if it needs to be from home for coverage, 100 miles away from home for coverage?
Yes, exactly correct. You have to, the insurance policy will not kick in until you are 100 miles away. You can't, if you buy insurance, you have to make sure that the person is traveling 100 miles away from home.
Okay.
And they're from the start of their trip to the end of their trip.
Okay.
And I'll give you a story. I'll give you a story on that. You know, some of the Medicare for older people, some of them are regional, some of them are national. So you got to be really careful there. I had a couple who was traveling down from New Jersey to Florida. She got out of the car in the Carolinas, went step on the curb, broke her ankle. She didn't have insurance because she said, oh, I have Medicare, I'm covered. Well, guess what? She didn't.
Oh boy.
So you really have to be careful on that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how about if do you have a yearly policy? Somebody was asking about clients who travel a lot.
Yes, we do have an annual policy, and I don't cover it in this presentation for a number of reasons. You know, number one, annual policies are really great if they're taking domestic trips.
Okay.
I would not recommend an annual policy for international trips because the coverage is not very high. And if anything happens to you internationally, you want to have good coverage. But yes, we do have it, and you can find it on Agent Max.
Okay, so Agent Max. I was going to ask where they can look for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Is Allianz only for U.S. citizens? We have some, agents who are traveling from Jamaica to the U.S. or Canada or Europe. So are they covered anywhere else in the world? Yeah. Okay.
U.S. They have to be a U.S. resident. So they can have a passport for Germany, but as long as they have a U.S. resident address, they can be covered.
Okay, so they do have to be U.S. residents.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I've got a scenario here. I have a couple traveling to Costa Rica. The policy provides travel companion coverage. Do each individuals have to purchase travel insurance, or can one purchase a plan and cover both travelers?
One purchases the plan to cover both travelers.
Okay. So when they go into Agent Max, they would fill in for each for two people, but
yeah, like let me show you a slide here. I don't know if you still have my slide up. So
Yeah.
when they go in, it says age of travelers. So you put both of their ages in here. Okay, so that automatically says there's 2 people.
Okay.
You see there on the 3rd one down, it says traveler's age.
Yes. Yes.
So put in the number of people that are traveling.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Let's see. We've got what is the age limit for the kids to qualify for free?
17.
17. Okay. Let's see. If a client declines purchasing insurance at the time of putting a deposit on their trip, but wants to still get it before their trip, what's the latest they can purchase? So you
24
said
hours.
24 hours. Okay. All righty. Let's see. So if some coverages are not available on one option as the other, and a client wants the different coverage, do they have to purchase multiple plans?
No, they can only purchase one plan.
Okay. Okay, that was a little confusing. Okay. Let's see. Oh God. I'm just trying to see some of these. The question regarding commission. So can we as agents make commission on purchasing for ourselves?
Yes, as long as it's not the travel agent, professional travel agent. The professional travel agent plan that we have, you do not make commission on. Everything else you will make commission on.
Okay. What's the professional travel agent? Is that explain?
That's a plan that travel agents can purchase. Because if you go on a lot of fam trips and stuff like that, you want to be covered for medical. And I think it ranges from 130, according to the state and the age, 130 to $140 a year.
Okay. Okay. Is this the page that you have right now up? Is that the only one for Agent Max?
Yes, but
Okay.
I can share with you Agent Max Live if you'd like. I can see if
that would be good just to see a little bit of the steps. How to do some of the questions do relate to how do we start with Agent Max and how.
Okay. Well, how do you start with Agent Max? That's where here. Let me just, my mouse is not working. Maybe it's the operator. With Agent Max. No, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. This is, take a picture of this. This is how you start with Agent Max right here.
That's the one. Yep. That's what the question was, if you could put that page up there. So thank you.
There you go. Take a picture of it.
Okay. Let's see this scenario. I'm going on a trip to Africa in August. Yeah, is it too late to pick up the classic insurance now? My trip was postponed from last year. And then, yeah, okay. So again, back to 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit, can you explain a little bit the difference between the classic and the premier?
Sure. As I said, on the here we have the classic plan. You can see the difference. Medical coverage is 50,000. On the premier, it's 100,000. Baggage loss is 1,000. Premier is 2,000. Travel delay is 800. Premier is 1,600. Same thing with baggage delay. It's 600. So it's just a higher coverage is what it is.
Okay, okay. All right, maybe just leave that for a little bit. So you mentioned the app. So is that the best thing to do once you, the agent has, sold the insurance, then the client puts the app and then the client can communicate, or via the app, or is it best to just give a phone number? I guess the travel agent is really wanting to know, is the client okay, have the ability to do everything like via call or app with Allianz?
They could do it either way, to call them or use the app. I would recommend the app only because the fact that they could just get it done right away.
Okay.
Can you see my screen, Sandra?
I can see, yeah, so I see, I just have the question screen. I've got the Agent Max screen and you're sharing that, right? Welcome,
Yeah.
Marilyn. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So let me go through a couple of things with Agent Max and why it's important. First off, my Agent Max is different than yours. You'll have a thing here for group policy. So I'm going to do a quote. I'm just going to do a quote and show you. I'm going to say I'm from the state of New Jersey. Okay, my trip is going to cost me $5,000. Okay, I'm going to put my age in an age I wish I was, 45, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to travel on March 11th, and I'm going to return on the 18th. Do you see how easy this is to do? I mean, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm going to get a quote. Now, the only quote that's going to come up for me is a travel agent quote because I don't have your system. But let me show you what it looks like. So I got a quote and, oh, look it. It's the professional travel agents, $138. So here's all my coverage. Now, what does trip cancellation mean? Well, that's my pre-existing limited conditions. My trip interruption is also $2,000. That's not too bad. My travel delay, maximum reimbursement per 24-hour delay. My baggage delay, what is that? Required 12-hour delay. Okay, it's actually 6. I don't know why mine says that long. Okay, so anyway, I'm in this and I want to do a product comparison. I want to see the difference between, and I can't do it on mine, but I'm showing you. I want to see the difference between Classic and Premier. So it's like, oh, wow, okay, this is Classic. Let me do an email comparison. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it to Marilyn. I'm going to choose the email. I'm going to select, let me see, professional travel agent. I'm going to select Premier. I don't have Premier, so I'm doing travel agent. So I'm going to select 3 different plans, and I'm going to say, Marilyn, check out, nobody said I could spell these plans. Okay, so then you're going to send that quote to your customer. Okay,
yeah.
Of course, it's not going to go, but that's how easy it is to do. Okay, and that's why I said when you sign up for Agent Max, play around with it. All right, let me go over some of the user options. Okay, so user options. Okay, here you can add your logo and your address is what you can do. You can do second chance max mail just to remind your customers that they should buy insurance. There's going to be a notification up here when you sold an insurance policy or you gave somebody a quote. There's going to be a notification up here that you gave 3 quotes out. You click on it and tell you what the 3 quotes are. So here it gives you information such as that. This is where you need to go, is the Resource Center. The Resource Center has an Agent Max manual. It says learn more about Agent Max online. This is about group travel. There's FAQs, there's terms, glossary terms. So there's articles. But before, remember I was talking about request commission protection. Here's the information on that. So there's just a ton of information on here for you. The other thing is waiver. This is very easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody says they don't want insurance, say, okay, you're going to send them an email, your name, your email address to them and their email address and say, Sally Mae, just want to let you know, I offered you insurance and this letter is to verify that you have declined insurance. You view and print it or you send it to somebody. Okay? Reports. You want to know what you booked. Okay? Sometimes you get busy, you can't see what you booked. Here, you can see what you as an individual booked. So once your trip is done and IntelliTravel has to pay you commission, you can do a comparison between what you're getting paid and what you actually booked. Okay? So this is really, it's a great resource for you to use. We always have up here important information about the COVID alert. You can modify or change policies. You can save quotes. You can order brochures. Now, let's talk a little bit about ordering brochures. I promise this will go quick, Sandra. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. So you want to go to the catalog. You want to order a brochure. Okay. Do not change anything until you actually get to the, don't go to my profile, because that profile is the Allianz profile, not your profile. What you want to do is you want to go to a brochure, the Essential Plan 2021. I want to order 10 of them. Okay. I want to order 10 of them. I want to customize it. Okay. So with customizing, my computer's a little slow. I can put my agency name, my agency phone number, an alternative. If I have my own URL, I put it here. And then, you know, type of logo. Do you want to upload a logo to put on the brochure? Again, do not go here. When you order, when you get ready to order, fill in all this information. And I know it's a lot to kind of grasp right now, but it's very, very easy. Play around with it. Try to, you know, say you don't want actual physical brochures, you want a PDF. Once you fill all of this in, it's going to tell you, you're going to say next. 555-1212. I don't know, that's my phone number. Okay, so you say next, and it'll come up. And you know what? We have videos for this in your back office, so it's very easy to use. You hit View Profile, and say you just want to keep these in your file. So if somebody says, "Can I see a plan?" all you have to do is download this, and it's a PDF. Okay, so you don't even have to order the brochures. There's a lot of things that you can do on here. Okay, Sandra, I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
Okay, all right, let's see. Well, somebody had mentioned something about regarding a trip for a motorcycle trip in Europe this fall, but when they plug in to check out the on Agent Max, the supplier list doesn't come up, the providers that they are traveling with. I guess
Right.
so.
The covered supplier list.
Yeah.
What the covered supplier list is, it's a list. If it doesn't come up, then say not listed. It's fine.
Okay, not listed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. On the Allianz Premier, is the emergency medical dental covered for 100K or 1 million? On the PowerPoint, it says 1 million.
100K. 100K.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Can you still book it for change? Let's see. Hold on. Sorry. Some of these got answered when you were doing the Agent Max. How about hurricane coverage? This has come up a couple of times. Hurricane coverage, must this be purchased within a certain time limit?
No, 24
No.
hours. Well, okay. If the hurricane is a named hurricane by the National Hurricane Association, you cannot buy hurricane insurance. You will not be covered. This is the Premier plan. But what I'm saying is that, you know, if you bought it 3 months ago and now it's a named hurricane, yes, it's covered. That's only under the Premier plan. Now, if you buy it the day it's named, you're not going to be covered for it.
Okay, so it has to be in advance before
Yes.
it's named.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what about, this has come up a couple of times when the airline offers Allianz insurance, the difference between choosing that and doing it through you direct.
There really isn't a big difference.
Okay,
The only thing is that you'll have to fight with them to get your money. Well, not fight with them. You'll have to do a claim through them to get your money back.
right, right. Okay. Let's see. And this, all of this includes cruises too. This is all travel, right? Just
Yeah.
like we talked about. No cruise.
What do you mean no cruise?
Oh, the insurance, the travel insurance, it includes cruising.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And you mentioned Washington. What benefits do the state of Washington get, since you stated that Washington and another state aren't covered?
No, we have what's called accommodations for COVID for those states. They haven't approved the new filing that we did. So basically they're covered for COVID pre and post, but it's under the accommodations.
Okay.
Not much different than what we have
Okay.
in the plans.
Okay. Let's see. If you let's see. A lot of them want is asking about the annual plan and then the travel agent plan, but I'm just putting that to check it all out on Agent Max, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. What is the best way to purchase insurance if your party is coming from different states?
Well, if your party is coming from different states, you have to do different policies.
Okay. So it's just everybody gets a separate policy. You can't group
Yes,
those together.
except for if you're doing group. If you're doing group, every state can be on there except for Washington and New York.
Okay. So then again, so that Washington, New York is got to be separate.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. See. Oh goodness. Are all the plans of a certain covered? Yes. The commission for agents is, what's the commission for agents? 28%?
Yeah, it goes from 28%. The only thing is the classic cancel anytime. Oops, it's actually 15%.
Okay, yeah, somebody else wanted to see that commission percentages. So if you got that one up.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What if a client books a non-refundable hotel rate but wants to buy travel insurance in case they have to cancel for any reason? Can we
That's
offer
fine.
Allianz to them?
That's fine, as long as they buy the insurance within 14 days of deposit.
Okay. Okay. What is the premium cost for the classic plan coverage?
What do you mean the premium?
Mm,
All plans are based on age and price of the plan. So could be, I can't answer that because
yeah.
what state are they from? What is their age? What is their cost of their trip? All of that good stuff.
Okay, okay. Okay, so you mentioned groups. This is one about groups. How about group tours? Can a group of 10 or more different couples go under one plan, or each couple individual plans? They have a group of 15 couples going to Ireland on a group trip, but some will be adding onto their trip with an additional.
Yeah, as long as the main, as long as they're, and you know, Cheryl Pellegrino can help you out with this. With group policies, you can book individuals, you know, if there's 15 couples, you book 15 couples. If 3 of those couples decide I want to do a pre and post, that's fine, as long as the main part is their main itinerary is the same.
Okay, yes, and just to reiterate, you're right, Cheryl, you've done a group webinar with Cheryl that is in our back office, so if anybody would like to view those. Let's see here, I think this is, okay. So, can you go just quickly through the steps again? This will be the last question because it's come up of where to find those brochures and catalogs. Was it under resource?
You just, when you go on Agent Max, it says here, order brochures.
Okay.
Click on that and then go to catalog. And now you want to order for every state except for New York and Washington, any brochures that say EEP 2021.
Okay. All right. All right. So is the basic or the essential plan only for travel within US?
No, some people buy it internationally, but I would recommend going with the classic plan if somebody's going to travel internationally. Just a personal preference, but if somebody wants those plans, you can book those plans.
Okay. I keep seeing about booking groups, so I just want to say again, we've got a group webinar that Marilyn did with Cheryl, and we do have that in our back office. So just look for the Allianz group webinar.
And also, when you're on Agent Max, look in the resource center. There's a step-by-step on how to book a group.
And what's the minimum to be considered a group?
10 or more.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, is the insurance refundable if there is no injury or mishaps?
No, no.
Okay. All right, Marilyn. I think that's it. I see a lot of questions about groups. So again, Cheryl Pellegrino webinar for groups. We have that in our back office. Is there anything else, Marilyn? I think we're all set with our questions. Is there anything else you want to say before we sign off for tonight?
No, just the fact that if you have questions, call Agent Services. Here is the number. It's 855-524-3687. They can answer the majority of your questions. Okay, perfect. All right, well, I want to just say thank you to our guests, presenter. Thank you, Marilyn, for this informative webinar, and thank you for helping us learn more to earn more. And thanks to all our attendees for joining us tonight. Just don't forget to see the excellent calendar of events for more upcoming great webinars and podcast episodes with top travel suppliers. And remember, you can replay this webinar in a few days in our IntelliTutorial area of your back office. So just take a few moments now to fill out any few survey questions at the end. And that's all we have tonight. Thank you, Marilyn, for a great night.
Thank you, Sandra. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Goodbye.